Hi, 𝗕𝗵𝗵𝗱𝗆 here. I'd like to say a big welcome to all the new followers, people who are following, who'd like to know more about vision than just beyond seeing 𝗕𝗃𝗍 2020. It's very heartwarming to see in the profession how many people really are interested to know more, and I hope I'm contributing in that respect. Last time we spoke about the developmental eye movement test and looking at saccades, and I'd like to look at that in a larger picture today. We'll be looking at a video of seeing a young child, 10-year-old, moving his eyes, and in order to move to transfer his window of attention, let's say from place to place, instead of moving just his eyes, he's actually moving his whole head. Now, we speak about pursuit saccades, binocular vision. It's all seeing, it's all vision. This separation is really a little bit artificial. I understand why we need to label these different skills in order that we can have conversations. We can talk about pursuits and we can talk about saccades. I think it's really important that we remember that this is all part of vision. It's everything our patients are doing all the time. And when they come to us in our profession as optometrists, I think we need to think, well, why are we doing the tests we're doing? What tests can we do to see how well our patients are doing at seeing? Who else is going to check that if not us? It's just us. We can check it and we can improve it. Now, I know so many of us are doing so much in our examination, we push for time, but we have to have these conversations and we have to think about how we can move things forward. Maybe that not everyone chooses to do it, but in my own personal practice, I receive many referrals from other optometrists who've identified some challenges in their patient, and then they've referred them to my office to do the evaluation treatment, and then I refer them back to the referring optometrist. If anyone needs glasses, any other optical appliance, they are referred back to the referring optometrist, and at the end of treatment they're referred back anyway to continue their eye care with that referring optometrist. So you may have an interest in binocular vision, and that can increase your sensitivity and your ability to refer out to someone who you know in your area who is taking it to a further level. So sometimes we have patients, kids, let's say, who are having a hard time following the ball. We need to ask our patients, our kids, do you like sport? How's football? How's basketball? Some kids are good at running sports, but they're not so good with ball sports. And though there may be many reasons why they don't enjoy ball sports, for some children, the difficulty in enjoying ball sports is compromised. They're not able to enjoy it because they don't know where the ball is. They perceive the ball, but they're not quite sure where it is in space. And so in football, for instance, they may suddenly find the ball at their feet. They see the player with the ball and suddenly it's at their feet. They do not see the path as the ball moves because they cannot keep their eye on that path. They can't make that pursuit. And there'll be other children who aren't able to know where the tennis ball is. They can't hit that. That's pursuits. There's saccades as well, like how we move from player to player, place to place. Need to keep my eye also on the ball, also on the players, also on everything going on in the field. So the combination of pursuits and saccades is something we're doing all the time. And one of the great tests to use for that in a standardized way, if you're interested in a standardized way, which is always a good idea, is the ocular motor test by Dr. 𝗪𝗪𝗲 Maypils, a really wonderful test. And I'm not going to go through all the norms today. I actually often do a modified ocular motor test because I often find there's a difference between how each eye is performing individually. And it's interesting to do that, and of course worthwhile trying to close that gap if we're looking at getting to a better place of binocular vision. But let's take a short look at a video today of a child who's struggling with his ocular motor control, and let's see what that looks like. And you can already see how he's using his head to look into space. Here he is looking at one target, the other target, one target, and you see that he's leading with his head. And that was just a quick look, but you can see he's moving with his head, he's leading with his head. And the point being, the head weighs about 2 kilos, 1.5 kilos in a kid, and the eye weighs 9 grams. So when we do the NSUCO test, which is normally done binocularly, you don't actually tell the patient not to move their head. You actually want to see what they're doing. And at different ages, a certain amount of head movement which is tolerated, but not at this age, and certainly not to that degree. And so I know that this child is using his head instead of just his eyes. So when he's either playing in a field, or let's say he's looking in a drawer to find something, or he's looking on a page to try and move his eyes from word to word or line to line, he may not have the fine motor control required, and he's going to sometimes look in the drawer and say the item is not there, and then someone will come along and say, oh, it's right underneath your nose, can you see it? Which is, if that happens enough times, that sort of gets to you, and you start to lose your self-confidence, self-esteem, and that's when vision can start to play a part in a much, much bigger picture. And so I think today's take-home again is we need to open our hearts and our minds to every aspect of vision that our patients are trying to do in order to live their life day by day. By asking the right questions, it can sensitize us to aspects of their vision which may not be as efficient as they need to be in order for them to function in the most optimal way. There are standardized tests that we can do in many of these skills and get the answers we need in order to make the correct recommendations. And that recommendation may involve referring someone out in your area and building up relationships with those people so that you can make the referral, help your patients. They'll be very grateful, very, very appreciative that you took the time and the care to identify the issues, find the solution, whether that was in your office or in someone else's office, and they'll come back and tell you how things have changed for them. If you're interested in carrying on the conversation with me, why not hop on over to 𝗪𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, sign up for a newsletter, and we can carry on. Till next time.